Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing in the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway to start off the Cup Series playoff throwback weekend here in the Cup Series. Very excited for you guys to see the modded paint scheme I've got for the number 24 car this weekend. But first we have the Xfinity Series race to get out of the way here at the Sport Clips Haircuts Help a Hero 200 at Darlington Raceway. Just a few races left in the regular season here for the Xfinity Series, where I had myself back in the Xfinity Series car for this race here in Darlington. Now, as we actually had a very strong qualifying effort, we were up here in P4. Ryan Sieg was on pole, Michael Annett second, then the 98 of Haley Deegan there in P3, but we got a really good launch off the start as we went down into turns one, as you see myself actually pushing the one of Michael Annett here into the corner now as we came through the center of 1 and 2. I can confirm, by the way, next season in the Xfinity Series for the career mode, we will have a full-time driver in our car, and an announcement on that will be coming soon here as we go down into turns 3, trying to follow through with that 39 to get towards the front of the pack here in Darlington. Currently 2 wins for our Xfinity team this season, looking for win number 3 today. And sure enough, as we came through a little bit later, we got up the inside of Michael Annett here as we came through out of turns 2, going down the back straightaway, and we had a huge run on the inside of the 39 of Ryan Sieg, so we would carry that momentum past him as well and now take over the lead as we went down into turns 3 here in Darlington. Now, as we would clear him through the center of the corner, and we would just not really look back after this point, as Annett actually would be able to pass Sieg and move himself back into second place. But we now come through towards the final lap of this race here in the Sport Clips 200 now, as Michael Annett had actually closed up the gap between himself and I as we went down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in Darlington. But I decided to just play it safe through the corner, make sure we get out of here without hitting anything. And sure enough, Annett closes the gap, but not enough from him, as we will come through to get our 3rd win in our first season as an Xfinity Series owner. So a nice way to cap off the regular season, still with 1 race, I believe, in the regular season to go. But either way, 3 wins now on the season for our Xfinity program, and setting us up now pretty nice for the playoffs coming up here in just a few episodes in the Xfinity Series. But now it's time to come through into the Cup Series weekend, where we have a modded paint scheme that I made myself. Once again, I've been making my own schemes a lot lately, and here you see the Razor Jeff Gordon 1997 T-Rex paint scheme that was run in the All-Star race that NASCAR pretty much banned from the sport here now, so I don't even know if they would allow this paint scheme in real life, but here, either way, I made it. I worked on it for only, it took maybe an hour or so. It was a pretty easy paint scheme to make, but I hope you guys do enjoy it. Now, as we came through into our qualifying attempt going down this front straightaway, the goal was a 29.3, and we crossed the line with a 29.421 and qualified P12 here for the Darlington Raceway Southern 500 for the first race of the playoffs, and what will be the start of our 3rd playoff run of our Cup Series career. Last season, of course, we made it all the way to the Final Four, had a chance to win the championship, and got wrecked out by Kurt Busch in his final Cup Series race. But Hamlin and Kyle Busch currently on the front row now as we get ready to take the green flag. Matt DiBenedetto, some playoff drivers down there in the mid-20s, and at the very bottom of the field, we got the 66 of Timmy Hill. Alright, boys, it's been a good regular season, but now it's really time to pick it up now. We can't make any mistakes, no chance for that, or no time for that. So we'll be giving it everything we got, and hopefully we can come out of here a champion in 10 races. There you hear myself on the radio as we get ready to go green, and if the trend continues from the first 2 seasons of the Cup Series in the career mode, I would expect to see Martin Truex Jr. make it into the Final Four. We've had a driver that was retiring make it to the Final Four each season. Jimmy Johnson, who actually ended up winning his 8th title before retiring. Kurt Busch made it last season to the Final Four. He, of course, retired, but crashed out of that race and took myself out there as you see that beautiful T-Rex paint scheme as we get ready to take the green flag for the first race of the Cup Series playoffs. Unfortunately, we got a rival of Joey Logano upper inside now as the green flag is out, and we are underway to start the Cup Series playoffs here in Darlington Raceway for the throwback race of the Southern 500. Immediately, I backed out of the throttle. I did not want to get run into by the 22 of Joey Logano now, as we just continue to try and get him away from being a rival, but we continue to fail at that. So hopefully we can start that here in the playoffs and get everything trending in the right direction as we exit turns 2 going down this back straightaway. The rookie of Todd Gilliland up my inside. As you guys remember to last episode, we pushed Alex Bowman to victory in Daytona. Unfortunately, that put Larson outside of the playoffs, who currently runs up there towards the front of the pack now as we come through out of turns 4, and we have our affiliate teammate of William Byron up the inside of us here in that number 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jimmy Johnson collaboration car here as we go down into turns 1. I would expect to see a lot more performance out of that car next season. Of course, Byron did win a race earlier this season as we come through out of turns 2. Zane Smith in the McLaren goes by, and then we got Matt DiBenedetto in the 10 car, who's at my inside here down the back straightaways. We go down into turn 3. So being on this outside, quite the disadvantage for myself, and we would fall down to P21 before I would be able to get into that bottom lane behind the number 42 of Ross Chastain up the inside now of Byron, as well as the 23 of Bubba Wallace, who missed out on the playoffs this season as well. Another team that I expect to see tremendous performance from next season now, as they definitely have a potential announcement on the way here in the coming episodes. Now, as you see, the 42 actually went 3 wide between the 02 McLaren and I believe that was the number 20 of Christopher Bell. He kind of had a mishap when that happened, and that would allow me to attack on him and get past him. But then the 21 of Austin Cindric moving his way through the field is another driver that barely missed out on the playoffs in his rookie season, would actually be able to get past me, as now I was up the inside of our teammate of Alex Bowman, as well as Noah Gregson, another affiliate teammate, a team that uses Hendrick Motorsports engines on our outside now as it came through out of turns 4. But now starting to make up some ground as our teammate of Kyle Larson. He was starting to fall down the order a little bit. We were up the inside of Tyler Reddick, and then out of turn 2 we made a 3-1 actually with Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick now, as we would pinch out the 5 car as we went down into turn 3. So the 8 of Reddick, of course, he won a race earlier this season. He's in the playoffs now as we came through the center of 3 and out of turns 4. Reddick trying to get clear, but now we just seem to have the speed in this car that's starting to pick up a little bit. So I was able to move my way forwards as these laps were going on. 21 laps still to go in stage 1. As you guys know, the Darlington Southern 500, a very long race here. Now as you would run down our rival of Joey Logano on lap 9, go up the inside of him. I knew right here we were probably going to descend it pretty deep into turn 3, so I had full intentions of just sliding on in there pretty deep, and sure enough, we go into the corner, and I actually didn't have to, because the 42 of Ross Chastain pretty much saved me and looked up the inside of the 22, made it easy, so we were able to keep the car in one piece and make sure we didn't knock down the wall. So we come through now on lap 10, 19 to go in the stage. Kyle Busch was actually leading at this point as we were up the inside of Ryan Blaney, who also missed the playoffs. A big surprise there, and I was expecting Penske Racing to give him the boot at the end of the season based off of his rough performance, but they instead announced a 4-car team with Austin Cindric going to that 33 car next season. Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski both winless this season here in the career mode, and the only Penske driver that's really performed really well is Joey Logano, who's gotten multiple wins, including the Daytona 500 earlier this season, but Keselowski winless surprisingly, and same for Ryan Blaney now as he came through up the inside of the 20 of Christopher Bell, another driver that's winless this season and missed the playoffs for a big team. Now as you would pass him, get up the inside of playoff contender Chase Briscoe, who recently won at Dover. Now as we were still following Zane Smith here as we went down into turn 3, but now we have the opportunity to try and fight up the inside of Zane Smith, the rookie, out of turns 4. Couldn't quite make it happen right there, so we slide in behind him here, but by the time we came through into turns 3 now on lap 17, we would be able to clear him into turns 1 now on lap 18. So moving up into P9 as Chastain kind of continued to follow me. Chastain was just following me through this whole group of cars, but now we would have to spend the next little while just trying to run down the traffic, who had now started to actually come into the pit lane. Gilliland came in, the 2 of Keselowski, the 10 of DiBenedetto, they were all coming into the pit lane. Myself and Chase Elliott, we actually stay out a little bit longer than everybody, so by the time we came through to the end of lap 23 though, I decided I'm going to come into the pit lane as I had cycled out into P2. Chase Elliott stays out for another lap, so we come through though into the pit lane. Very easy call to make here. 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires, and just very minor repairs to be made on the car now as we would get the tires on and we would get back underway here with a 16.2 second pit stop. So I was really curious to see where we were going to cycle out, because we came in a few laps later than a lot of the drivers, but we would come through right behind the 6 of Todd Gilliland, who's having a really good run at a track that's really hard to drive at. So I was definitely impressed right here by the rookie of Todd Gilliland, and I have interest in starting my own Cup Series team, kind of like how Denny Hamlin has done, as we would actually pass Gilliland. But like I said, I have an interest in starting a Cup team here in the career mode, and I look at drivers like Todd Gilliland as a potential candidate for that car if we ever do that. Same for Daniel Suarez is kind of a driver I'm looking at, maybe even Landon Castle, who I think deserves a very good ride. But we came through to the final lap here of stage 1 now, fighting Brad Keselowski for that 7th position here in the stage. Every point matters, even in round 1 of the playoffs, so I gave everything there to clear the 2. We sure enough take the position now, move up into P7 on this final lap here in the stages. Kyle Busch, he's going to win stage 1 as we go up the inside of the 51 of Joey Gase. A big thanks to Joey Gase for really helping us get Alex Bowman to victory lane in the last episode now as we come through to cross the line here. P7 in the first and opening stage in the Southern 500 in this Razor Jurassic Park T-Rex throwback paint scheme that I really am adoring. Now, as it apparently Martin Truex Jr. actually got Kyle Busch maybe right at the line there for stage 1. So no, Kyle Busch does not win the stage. It's Martin Truex instead, as we would though coming into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. There you see the rest of the order now on your screen. So we've already got like 10-11 cars a lap down at this point here in the Southern 500, as this stayed green the whole way there now, as we get ready though to go green for the start of the second stage from the 7th position here behind Denny Hamlin, as well as the rookie of Austin Cindric now, as Kyle Busch up there on the front row with Martin Truex Jr. for the start of stage 2. And for the start of stage 2, we are going to go through into the amp segment. Definitely not the greatest restart in the world there, as you saw it all happen in amp now as we go down into turns 1, trying to run down the 11 of Denny Hamlin as Martin Truex Jr. continues to lead the way over second place of Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott has really picked it up lately here in the career mode. Multiple wins now in the season, 3 wins to be exact here, and he's also given away a few wins this season to myself at Watkins Glen and most recently at Dover. So Elliott could easily have 4 to 5 wins at this point. Now, there's actually trouble behind us. A 6 of Todd Gilliland has gone spinning into the inside while collecting the 14 of Chase Briscoe. The caution comes out. The rookie of Gilliland, who was having a very strong performance in the Southern 500, is now out here in Darlington. That will be the end of Gilliland's race now, as we would all stay out, though, not come into the pit lane and get ready to go back green once again from P7. Definitely disappointing there for the 6 of Gilliland now, as we are back underway with Truex and Elliott on the front row, Kyle Busch, Matt DiBenedetto on row number 2. Matt DiBenedetto started way behind us in this race, and here he is working himself up into the 4th position. Definitely a car to watch out for. Daniel Suarez as well in the 99 Trackhouse car, having a very strong run. He won a race earlier this season for the first time of his Cup Series career. Kind of been subpar the rest of the regular season, but here we are in the first race of the playoffs, and now when it comes to crunch time, Suarez picking up some stage points that are going to be very crucial, because towards the bottom of the playoff grid around the elimination cut line, it is very close on points. So it's going to be very interesting here in the coming races to see who gets eliminated and who makes it through. Now, as it's one little mistake, maybe a mechanical issue or something for a driver, could just completely take him out of the playoffs here now, as it came through clearing Chastain on the exit of turn 2. I will have the live playoff grid probably come up every elimination race this season here in the playoffs now, as it came through, getting actually a caution though on lap 12. I was trying to run down Denny Hamlin, but both of us had kind of lost contact with the cars in front of us at this point, but the caution comes out, and that groups us all back together as we once again get ready to go green here from the 7th position in the Southern 500. I feel like 7th is as far as we can go, guys, but the car feels good, so I don't want to mess with anything, but we still just don't have anything for like 6th and above. There you heard my feedback on the radio. Not really sure what I wanted to do to the car, because it was driving really good now as we are back underway with 11 laps to go in the second stage. Suarez on my outside now. Hamlin trying to hold us off in that 6th position as we're right behind the 10 of Matt DiBenedetto. Truex still leads away, having a tremendous first race of the playoffs so far, picking up that stage 1 victory, and has just really been dominating here as we came through out of turns 2, going down this back straightaway. Elliott there in that 2nd position, passing Kyle Busch now as we go down towards turn 3, right at that quarter panel of the 11 car in that Federal Express paint scheme here as we came through the center of 3 and 4. Always love seeing these cool throwback paint schemes every time we come to Darlington, and this is the first time we've ever run a modded throwback paint scheme, and it's just so cool to be able to do this now as we go into the corner. Now 10 laps to go as we go for a bit of a slide there. That could have turned into a bit of a ugly situation, as I could have easily spun myself out, but fortunately we hang on as we exit turn 2, trying my best to pass the 11 of Denny Hamlin, but he sure was making it tough here as we go down into turns 3. So we just kind of chilled in behind Denny for a few laps now as we came through onto lap 18. Into turns 1, we would actually get to the outside wall, and we pick up our first legitimate Darlington stripe of the day there, as I just drove in at the corner too hard, kind of misjudged everything, and into the wall we went, unfortunately. Now, as the damage wasn't really that bad, we would still have normal speed in the car as we came through, approaching 5 laps to go in stage 2. Matt DiBenedetto had moved to the lead, as I would run down Denny Hamlin now a few laps later on lap 22, get to the inside of him down the back straightaway. Side by side here as we go down towards turns 3, approaching 3 laps to go in the stage. Truex second, Elliott third, Kyle Busch fourth, and Cindric rounds out the top 5 now as we move up into P6 here as we try to clear Hamlin on the exit of the corner, but a caution comes out in stage 2, and that will get us a free pass on the 11 of Denny Hamlin. So P6 it is for us here in stage 2. Matt DiBenedetto picks up a playoff point. He won Bristol Motor Speedway earlier this season, and he's been having a very strong season in that 10 car. He could have had 2 wins. Now he gave a win away a few races back, and here he is today looking to maybe make up for that and get his 2nd win of the season, but still 1 long stage to go. As you see, I did make some adjustments to the car, put the wedge down just by a few clicks as we get ready to go green for the start of the third and final stage with DiBenedetto, Chase Elliott on the front row now as the 3rd and final stage is underway here for the Southern 500. Behind us we got Hamlin, Daniel Suarez. You know what, we were lucky to be able to get that spot over Hamlin at the end of the stage, but unfortunately now we're trapped on the outside here as we go down into turns 1 and 2, the exact spot I do not want to be for a restart at Darlington. As you see, myself being very careful for some contact there with the 42, but we keep it clean here nonetheless now as we go down this backstretch side by side with Alex Bowman up my inside, William Byron in the number 88 car getting into the mix there, a little bit of contact with him in that Dale Jr. Jimmy Johnson race car as we come through out of turns 4, getting passed by the 0-2, and now all of a sudden I notice our rival of Joey Logano is here as we go down into turns 1. He's trying to turn us down into the corner now as he's going to put us into the outside wall. Logano and myself slammed the wall, completely intentional by the 22, and at this point I was very, very frustrated about what just happened because we've worked so hard to be in a good position all race. One bad restart becomes even worse with the 22 of Joey Logano getting to us, trying to hook us down the straightaway, and then just finishing us off completely into turns 1. So now, of course, my mindset was to just get back to that 22 and take him out now as we go down this front straightaway. Now the 20 of Christopher Bell going to get to my inside with 34 laps to go as we go down into turns 1. Now we come together. We go to the outside wall again with the 20 of Christopher Bell this time, picking up more damage on the car. Things get even worse there. I don't know if that one was on me or not, but either way, we came together. I went into the outside wall, so we were just trying to work our way back forwards. We had fallen in behind the 14 of Chase Briscoe, but we would work up the inside of him here as we went down into turns 1 on lap 64, and we're just trying to rally our way back forwards. The car still, surprisingly, was in good enough condition to run down these drivers in front of us, as the 10 of Matt DiBenedetto, he was still out front, so we would run down Zane Smith into turns 3 now lap 65, and we make a pass on him as well, so we move up into P18. We run down Noah Gregson there in the 1 car as we exit turn 4, and now I could see the 22 of Joey Logano, who was just a few positions in front of myself here, as it's Penske Racing just everywhere we look here as we go down into turns 1. So I was waiting for the right opportunity to clean out the 22, or at least put him into the wall, so we come through to turns 4 up the inside of Ryan Blaney as we come through to lap 69. Nice. We have now run down that 22, and what better lap than lap 69 to mess over that 22 of Logano as we slide up in front of his teammate of Ryan Blaney there in that number 12 car. Beautiful throwback paint scheme on that car, by the way. Now as we come through out of turns 2 right to the back of the 22, and I decided, you know what, we're going to do the exact same thing he did to me earlier, and we're just going to put him in the wall. So we go down into turns 3, slamming into the back of the 22, sending him into the outside wall, making sure I door slam him as well in the process as we go by, and we get our revenge on Joey Logano, and now we just try to drive away, and sure enough, we would run down his teammate of Brad Keselowski within just a few laps as we came to lap 71 into turns 3. We easily clear the 2 car and move up into P14, but still really frustrated about that because, you know, we were in P6, I think it was, at the start of the stage, but the caution would actually come out a few laps later as we had run down Eric Jones in the McLaren. DiBenedetto still leading with 21 laps to go. Of course, everybody coming to the pit lane, and we have 2 seconds estimated of repairs on the car needed. So I would repair the car, and unfortunately we lost 1 spot, but it actually helps us because we're into P15 on the inside line. Kevin Harvick actually lost 10 positions on the pit lane, so he restarts P17 instead of being P7 as we are back underway here with less than 20 laps to go in the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway, and Matt DiBenedetto actually lost the lead on the pit stop, so now he's on the outside in 2nd place. He might have potentially just handed away a victory here once again today as we come through out of turns 2 of the inside of that 7 of Zane Smith there, the McLaren rookie here as we go down the back straightaway into turns 3, doing everything we can to get back into the top 10 here as we get up the inside of the Trackhouse car driven by Daniel Suarez. Now as we exit turns 4, Truex clear for the lead. Kyle Busch up into second now as DiBenedetto is trying to find his opportunity to either get to the inside or somehow pass Kyle Busch on the outside, which will be a very tough thing to do as he's under attack from the 11 of Hamlin. Some contact with myself and Daniel Suarez, but fortunately we both keep it going in the right direction as we clear him out of turns 2, getting to the back of the 2 of Keselowski. Also up the inside of the 20 of Christopher Bell as we came through to 15 laps to go now down into turns 1. So we are going to be able to complete a pass on the 20 car by the time we come through out of turns 2 and then get up the inside nearly of the 2 of Keselowski. Couldn't make it happen right there, but we came through now eventually up the inside of him as we came through to turns 2 on lap 79, passing him and now putting the pressure on Erik Jones, who was very defensive right here down the back straightaway as we try to move ourselves back into the top 10. We have rallied our way forwards, and sure enough, out of turns 4, we actually have smoke from the number 88 of William Byron, who appears to lose that right front tire, that is, and the caution will come out with 13 laps to go. Playoff implications right there. Byron is going to be going to at least the back of the field now, as I don't know if this is going to be a DNF or not for him. Hopefully not, now as every point is so important at this point, but unfortunately we will be now back on the outside for the restart. But one thing that was fortunate for a driver like Matt DiBenedetto, he was in front of Denny Hamlin at the time of the caution. He will restart P3 on the inside with 10 laps to go behind Martin Truex Jr. as a green flag is down. We get a really good restart actually, and they're able to clear Erik Jones into turn 1. So of course I'm going to hop on that opportunity, get to the inside right away, up the inside of our teammate of Alex Bowman, and we are already moving our way forwards here as we come through the center of 1 and out of turns 2 on the back of the rookie of Austin Cindric. So Matt DiBenedetto trying to find himself in victory lane here tonight. He's had a fast car this whole race, and now into turn 3, he's going to go up the inside of Martin Truex Jr. for the lead as we exit turns 4. Elliott up there in P3, Kyle Busch 4th. Cindric trying to move up into P4 now as you see Hamlin there in P6, and we are going to move through into P7 as we go down into turns 1. We will be able to complete a pass here in the 42 of Ross Chastain. A little bit of contact actually with the 42 of Chastain, but DiBenedetto, he clears Martin Truex Jr. for the lead with less than 10 laps to go, and we really wouldn't have anything after this point. We came to the lap 87 and I was stuck here in P7. So coming to lap 88 now, DiBenedetto still out in front over Truex and Chase Elliott there in second and third place. I was doing my best to try and run down the 11 and pass him, but the 11 of Hamlin just had enough speed in that car to be able to defend over me here as we came through. A little bit of a chance there, but we didn't quite make it happen. So we come through to 3 laps to go now, and DiBenedetto about 3 to 4 car lengths or so ahead of Martin Truex Jr. Comfortably enough ahead now as he's just hoping we make it to the final lap as we exit turns 2, trying to make a move there on the back of the 11 again. Couldn't quite make it happen. Now as we came through though to a lap and a half to go, finally up the inside of Denny Hamlin into turns 3 as we approach the final lap here in the Southern 500. It's very up and down race, especially with the contact with Joey Logano. Hamlin clears us, but Matt DiBenedetto takes the white flag here in Darlington for the Southern 500. 1 win earlier this season at Bristol Motor Speedway. Looks to make it 2 here tonight in Darlington, in which is one of the hardest racetracks to drive here as we come through the center of 1 and 2 for the final time. A tremendous exit right there. We get right to the back of the 11 up the inside here on this final lap in the Southern 500 as we go down side by side into turn 3, fighting for that 6th position. Now we send it in pretty deep, but it's not going to be enough. Hamlin has the momentum. We slide up a little bit there trying to pinch him towards that wall, but it's not enough. Hamlin gets P6. Matt DiBenedetto wins the first race of the playoffs here in Darlington there as we have to settle for the 7th position. So Matt DiBenedetto locks himself into the round of 12 with a victory here today in Darlington, and now it's definitely proving that Stewart Haas Racing made the right call to bring Matt DiBenedetto to that 10 car this season. He's picked up now 2 wins, which is surprisingly the most of any SHR driver this season. Now as Harvick has 1 win, and so does Chase Briscoe, and then Cole Custer has none now. As you see, Todd Gilliland, they're going to DNF. William Byron did not DNF after that blown tire, so he was in decent shape as we're going to check out the playoff grid, of course, at the end of the first race of the playoffs. And the next one, we actually have another Truck Series playoff race there at my home track in Canada. Then we have one more race in the Xfinity Series regular season before the playoffs kick off there, as Magnussen really just needs to have a good run to get himself inside of the playoffs there. Now, as you see, the playoff grid, though, after 1 race in the Cup Series, so DiBenedetto advances. We're 62 points above the cut line, so 1 solid race in Richmond will be locked in on points, but it gets really interesting from 7th place on down. Daniel Suarez, actually, after a solid race up in P7, but only 10 points above the cut line. Gragson in last, only 6 points below, so it's going to get really interesting here in the next few races between Richmond as well as, I believe it's Las Vegas or something like that to end the first round of the playoffs now. So before we end this episode, I just want to say thank you, of course, to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James Jackson, Dylan, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, NASCAR on Docks, Devin Roth, Eric Chouette, Matthias Hansen, as well as Movement. As I say every time, you guys help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you for sticking around, and thank you for everybody for taking the time out of their day to watch this episode. And I'll see you guys in the next one for the second race of the playoffs. Have a great day, everybody.